write, take pictures. We're debating to do either a magazine or a book club, but whatever kind of is feasible. It'll probably be more of a magazine, like an end of year magazine, or one a semester, kind of to give people time to kind of collect what's happened over the semester and maybe split it up that way. But yeah, and other clubs, you have LGBTQ, there's African Society, Indian Society, Film Society, Music Society, sports-wise, and the sports society, kind of like a club, like you don't really play sports, I think it's more to discuss, but also it's really up to the club. In regards to how they run, they elect a president at the beginning to kind of just be the person to talk with staff and organise stuff, but it is honestly up to everyone in the club what they want to do. So, just for example, like a lot of people, I joined Film Club, but there's not a whole pile of us, but it's honestly up to the members what they want to do. If they want to either just watch films, if they want to make films, if they want to, attend film festivals, just kind of like, it's really kind of up to the members what they want to do. And all they have to do is kind of, if they're not sure on how to go about things, they are welcome to come to Jason, which is kind of the person in charge, but also if it's just general questions that they're happy enough to come to us, we can try and answer as best we can as well.
Do you cooperate with other students' unions, for example, in Trinity and our university?
Like, do we communicate with them? Yeah. So there's a big kind of overall kind of committee called USI, which is in charge of all the student unions in the country. And we've just recently, we were invited last semester to their big meetings down in Maynooth University. So I think there was speculation of joining that, but the problem is that the fee to join them is quite big for what they do, and for the size of our college, it was believed to not be kind of worth joining at this time, just because of first of all, like I was saying, the budget we're working with, and it's a lot of the stuff they do. It's a little bit more like the stuff that we can kind of do because ours is such a smaller group, whereas other colleges they have like 16,000, 20,000 people going, and they need that extra support, like that really, really big support. Like some of them, a lot of those colleges will have 12 people on their student union, if not more. Also, like volunteers and stuff. But we've reached out to other student unions before with different things, such as I mentioned previously the SUSI grant, and that was kind of a combined thing to try to get as much colleges allowed for students to be allowed to receive that grant. And that was kind of a national campaign towards the Department of Education to try to get private colleges to receive those grants as well. And if there are any kind of, at the moment, like anything that kind of arises, that kind of we might need the extra help, or we want to ask for advice from other students, they're all very good and they always get back to us. And there is good communication, even though we're not part of any kind of club with them. We do, on the occasion, reach out to them. Sorry, yeah.
So on the topic, you were talking about expanding your members.
Yeah.
So how would the student union go about that, and what is their selection process?
Yeah. So it's done by voting, and you vote through your college email, so your first name, last name, last student. Yeah. And it's happens over 1 day. So you have 1 day to vote, but there's usually about 2 to 3 weeks of campaigning previously.
Okay.
We're hoping to expand it to at least 5 people, because we're going to argue that there's not enough of us. COVID is still here, and if no one's here to cover that for those people, the college is going to have to give in that regard. But that's basically how it goes. It goes by elections around this time. So around March, April, we'll have elections for the next year.
Ah, okay. Sorry. So anyone can become a member then?
Yeah, anyone can. Yeah.
Okay.
you will need a PPS number
Ah, I see.
because it's still a job in Ireland and you will be technically like under the tax. So you need to have the PPS number. Other than that, anyone can do it. Yeah.
Okay, so sorry. So you have to like enter yourself to become for the role.
Yes.
So you do that through the SU then.
So we'll, I think we have the external, so Paul Walsh, who's our manager, he'll most likely him or Neil Merton, who's a bit like of a liaison between, also another person between us and the college. The two of them would most likely be the ones to receive these. You basically just do like a write-up on yourself, why you want to do it, what can you bring, basically just stuff like that, what extra things can you do to help improve it, basically.
Okay. So what are the what are the short-term versus long-term activities of the student union, and what are your overall goals or aims?
Well, the big goal is to basically help as much people as we can in college. Usually just try to be there so we can answer any questions because people just like to walk in and ask, which I completely understand. Because emails, they get pushed to the bottom, and next thing could be a day or two. So we always encourage people please walk in if you have any questions. Sorry, what was the rest of the short term as well? Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Short term is kind of just whatever's been going on at that present time, I suppose. So we try to do campaigns in regards to things like mental health, sexual health, physical health, just basically any kind of well-being to do with the students. We try to kind of incorporate that over the years, spaced out to give people time. Because obviously, taking up time with classes, assignments, we don't like to kind of bombard everyone with something every single day. So we try to spread things out for people, but also kind of keep an awareness of things like mental health, and basically just the person's overall well-being. And also you have the counselling service there that it's not technically run by us, it's part of the college, and if anyone did need the phone number, it's on our Instagram, also it's on the college website. So just things like that it's just basically the whole person's overall well-being that we try to go for as much as possible and try to cater for as much people as we can, but yeah. So yeah.
How do you choose whether someone fits for the job? If they're looking for
Well, it's basically up to the students. I mean, the voting is done by the students themselves. I'm not sure what the capacity is for the amount per job, because I'm not in charge of that part. We're not in charge of that part ourselves. There's external people to choose who gets to work. Last year and the year before, there wasn't a large number of candidates, so as far as I'm aware, everyone that applied had their say, and they were given a list of kind of questions to be asked, why do you think you're fit for the job, what can you bring, stuff like that. Then they made short videos and they present them online, usually on Instagram again, and students can see and hear from people who've applied, and they can decide themselves who they want to see.
I mentioned that foundation of the Students' Union is month by month. Yeah. How do you divide this sum? Do you save something or you spend everything in the month you receive this month?
It depends. So if we have events that are obviously more costly, but when you're kind of taking a lot of, so we say, for example, the whiskey tour we went on, the prices for that were €17 per ticket, and we subsidised €7 per ticket that was bought. So it adds up quickly when, depending on the amount of people that you're paying for. Because anyone that wants to sign up, we'll try cater for as much people as we're physically allowed to bring to a place. But so it just really depends where we're going, how much the expense is of that event or that place, and we just try to kind of work out, if we can't do 2 tours this one, we'll move it to the next one, and so on. Yeah.
So how does the student union come up with new activities and ideas?
Well, a lot of it's just down to research. We'll just like we'll look at other colleges, we'll Google stuff, we'll look at what previous members have done, and just kind of talk about, so Paul again was the manager, he's been here 10 years, so he kind of knows at this stage the Griffith College demographic, because I've had this conversation before with him that what works in other colleges doesn't always work in this college because of the wide range of students, and you're trying to cater for all these different people. And a lot of people, they're just not interested in a lot of things. Like you think, oh, there's something, I don't know, like maybe chess club or something, but like you try to start these things up and no one turns up. So it just kind of, we try to get as much of the students' feedback as we can to kind of see what direction we're heading in regards to setting up new things or doing kind of new events or all that kind of stuff, yeah.
How often is the student union approached for help, and like what kind of help is most asked for?
So I mean, it's very basic stuff. Where certain classrooms are, how to get places around the campus, how to use a lead card or how to get a lead card. Just kind of little things around. Some people might ask about doctors, counsellors. We try to point them in the direction. This is your options. Bank accounts, just all the kind of stuff you need when you're moving to Spain. I know we're mainly talking here about international students, but the main inquiries would be from people maybe not from Ireland that wouldn't be familiar on how like life is and how to kind of go about getting these kind of necessities that you need. Other things like job applications, like if we receive any, we try to post them as much places as we can, let people know, and just all that kind of stuff, yeah.
Okay, so I have to say the last chance to ask a question. Anyone else before our questions?
Do you guys find it difficult to manage all this with your studies?
It can be. At the moment, I'm the only full-time left as editor because the union president is, from this year, it's been a full-time role, so you have to either be finished college or you can take a gap year in between your course. And then Vibhuti, my other vice president, she finished her master's, so now she has like these few months to kind of, we have the extra kind of time to kind of get more work done, but it can be a little bit difficult, especially when we have to go on the trips away and different things like that, but you manage as best you can, and I mean, lecturers are pretty understanding. They'll say, they know you're working with the college and you're part of everything, and you're doing all this work for them, so most of them will be nice enough to say, look, give me a good advance warning if it's assignment due or something like that, and they'll usually like give you an extension or something like that. If it gets to the point where it's really difficult, but I mean, you do try to kind of just get stuff done as soon as it's handed to you, really, so you don't have the problem. But yeah.
Regarding the president, does every class have a representative?
We try to get as much representative as possible. Some do not reach back to us, unfortunately, as much as we nag. Some people, I'm not 100% sure if it's the fact that no one wants to be a class rep, or that it's the people just not getting back to us, but we send multiple emails from ourselves, and from our managers, and from other liaisons from the college that help out the students union as well. But we try to let everyone know about it. We make sure we get it out to everyone we know. We get faculty to send it out to every student's email, and we get back as much as possible and just try to get them to spread the word as well. That if they have any friends that they don't keep on it for, I'd say, about 2 or 3 months, until we get as much we possibly can, basically.
Regarding the events, how do you know what student you want, and otherwise do you try to find out what events students would like to attend?
Yeah, so at the beginning we used kind of a bit of everything. We used the class representatives as well to kind of get them to ask their classmates if they want to see anything from the student union, like whether it's events or campaigns, because anything that's going on, maybe they've seen their friends in other colleges doing something and they want to do it, like to let us know, and we can try and do it as best we can with what resources we have.
What about your social media pages? Do you try to create like questionnaires maybe for students and they answer?
Yeah, so we do polls a lot, but unfortunately with them, because of the following, it's not always people that are still in the college. So when I look through some of the polls, I'm like, well, you're not here, no, you're not here, you know what I mean? So that's just the unfortunate part there. But usually after trips and stuff like that, there will be some sort of, like the students that have went on those, they'll kind of get their feedback on what they think we should have done differently and what actually went well and stuff like that. So it's usually the feedback can be got like after events, but we try to get as much beforehand to see if people are interested in doing these things. But unfortunately, like, it's hard to kind of get the right kind of feedback. Some people just click yeah, or just no parents, just like
How are you planning to promote your social media accounts?
to promote it more.
Your accounts, like social media presence, how are you planning to promote it since you just mentioned that you don't have many followers and are currently in college?
Well, I think the problem with that is that anyone who comes in, we let them know straight away that if they have any questions, they can just contact us on those or the emails. So any inquiries, if you're not sure of any events and people ask and they're saying, oh, we're not on social media, we'll get them to like email us, just like ask us, or call into the building, just ask us at any time what's going on. But we don't have anything at the moment to really promote other than the only resource we have is physical posters that we could put around the college. But other than that, there's not really a way we have to kind of do that at the moment.
You said that Paul was the manager of this.
Yes.
He's also the manager of the residence, I know. He sends
No, that's a different Paul.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because in the newsletters from the residents
Yeah.
that we get to our emails,
Yeah, that's
usually the SU is in there somewhere. Like there's a handle for the SU.
yeah.
Like if you have like events, are you allowed to access the emails? Are you allowed to send out newsletters?
We don't receive those emails, unfortunately.
You don't have access to student emails.
No, we don't. It's because it's a breach of privacy. So the only people we're allowed and that we have consent from is the class representatives. That's why we use them to kind of get out the word. Because of data protection, you cannot just email anyone out of random.
But do you send emails like every week when you have something to
We use our social media platforms to kind of any events and parties and stuff. We'll use social media. But it's basically it really is all social media. I'm afraid at the moment. Yeah.
What do you think is that you really need to kind of improve its presence on the campus? Other than the budget, what do you think that you really could do to improve like the overall presence of the campus?
Yes. Well, there's a lot. Is there any specific area that you were thinking, or?
Like, not many people know that there's events going on, even with social media. So, is there a way that, without having more people on the team, you could kind of market yourself with the students?
Well, just from what we've been using, other than obviously I was saying that the website is a little bit all over the place, but there isn't really, other than physical ways of like posters and stuff like that. I don't believe there's any sort of, because it's not like secondary school or like, high school, you don't have kind of the announcements and stuff like that would have probably made it that easier. The only options we really have is either the social media, physical posters, word of mouth, website a little bit fixed overall. That's really the only platforms that we have at the minute. Is that yeah?
Other than financial limitations, are there any other limitations that you can think of? For example, drugs or not allowed, of course. But for example, are you allowed to organize a trip abroad?
I've actually asked for this. I was begging them to do a ski trip, but it's actually because of the heavy international base that with trips abroad, not everyone is able to acquire visas. So that's kind of the big issue there, because we feel that obviously the huge demographic of international students in the college, it's hard to kind of, it wouldn't be fair really to almost do, that's what I would anyway explain, that's how I would explain to, that it wouldn't be fair to a lot of people if they couldn't go because of visas issues. But because they've had different discussions about this, so maybe next year when we have like, you know, less things like COVID and stuff, there might be hopefully something. I've been trying to get them to do something, but that's kind of the big reason there. Trips around Ireland, I mean, they're already kind of there. We're happy enough to kind of do more. People are interested in doing more. But a lot of the thing is people like to kind of go off and do it themselves is the other thing. But if their interest is there, we're definitely happy to kind of do our trips. A lot of people tend to kind of just go off with their friends or go to see family members and stuff like that. So then you might not always have anyone to kind of go on these trips. That's the only thing. After that, it's kind of just different permissions. Like you have to make sure about insurance things, make sure all that kind of area is covered, because obviously you're looking after a group of people. You have to kind of think about all these different health and safety things. On campus wise, it's mainly either security is an issue sometimes, depending on the event, or it could be just the college in general. But it's just, I think the fact that for certain events, the college is a little bit too small to do larger scale things. But that's kind of the issues we're facing in that kind of regard.
Is there any reason why you don't profit on your events? Like why you don't set a price where you could some of the budget to do future events? Is it prohibited or is it are you allowed to set?
Not that we don't, so we do get a little bit of money from it. So like that helps with that basically. Like it helps that if we shouldn't really run out of money for a month. Sometimes it happens if we have like a lot of events in one month, it can happen. But no, there is a little bit of money, but most of it actually does go to cover the cost, and there might be an extra, maybe it's 200 or something. But I mean, it's not really enough to kind of cover anything massive.
But there is a small profit.
A small profit, yeah, I will say there is a small, yeah.
How has student union improved, like before COVID and after COVID? How has it changed?
Well, just the difference was that, I mean, last year we couldn't do any events. They were all on Zoom, and students, after like Zoom classes, they have no interest in coming to Zoom events. We had very, very small demographics, maybe 5 to 10 people would do it, 10 would be kind of even pushing the numbers there. In regards to this year, sorry, what was the exact, sorry,
Like what did student unions have like before COVID, not during COVID, like before COVID and after COVID, like right now?
okay.
How has it improved or changed or evolved in any way in the area?
I'll be honest,
Having more societies or something?
Okay. I believe the societies are the same except for the one or two. So we've had a student who, we had a student who started up a dance class that happens on Mondays. Someone else, another student who is currently trying to start up a theatre club. And I'm trying to start up a magazine. The option to sign up is there. But I cannot answer So if you wanted to look at older posters that the previous people did, just different events they did, that might help kind of answer that a bit more.
Okay, everybody happy? Again, if you are recommending events that they should do as a group, your recommendations for week 10, I would advise you to price up those events so that you're not just coming with one liner saying, okay, or we recommend that you do the whiskey tour. You need to price it up. There's financial students in the class, so you need to price up how much that event would cost for 20 people, 30 people, 40 people. So again, you're not just coming with recommendations, but you're coming with solutions to her. So it's no good to come to a presentation of week 10 and say, okay, these are all the things that's wrong with the Students' Union. We've got this problem, this problem, this problem. We want solutions, how you solve those problems, and how much it's going to cost to solve those problems. So she can see in our budget next month, okay, we're going to take this group 2 said we should do this, let's do this is how much it's going to cost. So you come with solutions to her and costings, yes.
Do you not access or student unions pass budgets and pass costs for events?
Don't think the budgets are something
I'm not sure, so I maybe.
Yeah, I would say that's confidential information, the actual budget. However, what I would say to you is when you're making your recommendations for future events or wherever that you should do, it's limitless in one sense. So you go relative to the college. You find out, this is again part of your market research project, you go find out how many students are in Griffith College. What is the percentage likely to go on the whiskey tour, for example? How much that will cost? You're making a profit from an event. That was an example of an event that cost €17 per head. Students' Union subsidised €7 of that to try and attract more people to go on it, so it was only €10, and everyone was thinking, oh, happy days, loads of whiskey for €10. So maybe more people went, or whatever the case may be. But again, that's a cultural thing in itself. So what Laura's saying is, if you did something like that in UCD, you'd probably have a huge take-up because maybe lots of Irish students want to go on the whiskey tour. However, the difference with Griffith is you have so many different cultures in this college, which is fabulous. You have to try and tailor that to meet, you have to tailor your recommendations to meet those different cultural desires, as well as obviously the Irish students too. But it's more complex when you have so many different cultures. So again, as I said, the whiskey tour might suit the Irish culture, but maybe not other cultures.
I have a last question.
Sure, go for it, yeah.
How many occupancies is allowed at the party at SU? And how many securities do you need?
So they've only sent over one person, but it's from an external, they get it through a company. So I can say it's 150 for the person for a few hours.
And how many are allowed at maximum inside?
We can do 80 people for the party, like 80 attendees, and then we can have a few private, we'd say 6 people kind of ourselves to actually help out to set up, clean up, just kind of keep an eye on things. But it's usually 80 at the minute. It's max, 80 people,
Is that usually, do you usually acquire 80 people?
The last party we did, we sold out, Also food, if we're doing food, because we have a good relationship with Pinhead's Pizza, it's on the junction here. They do give us a deal as far as I'm aware, but I just know that I was told, I think it was for 15 pizzas, the really, really big ones. It charged us around €100 to €115 as well. And then alcohol again, it's another big thing, could be another €200 for alcohol as well, depending on how much or how many. So it just depends on how many tickets we're allowed to sell for an event. That we'll try to kind of divide to make sure we have enough drinks and food and everything for the event.
You're not always allowed to sell 80
Well, just because of COVID previously, security were like, oh, we're only letting you do this much. So it was just because of that. So we were really pushing this year, this when COVID, because it had all the restrictions were lifted. So we pushed as much people as they would let us.
Have you tried to sell tickets online?
So we started an event
for how long does the how long are students members of the student union for?
So you mean myself, like?
Mhm.
Yeah. So you get elected around March or April, and you start work around, depending on what job role you're in. So the president started in August because it's a full-time position, and they had obviously trained in a little bit more for all the little technical things. And then ourselves, myself and Mabuti, we started in September, and you finish, the contract ends at the end of May.
Okay, so for a year, basically.
Yeah, basically a year, yeah.
But for example, Laura was president last year, vice president this year, so,
Right,
you know,
yeah.
you can,
You can do it again, yeah.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Any other questions before she finishes?
Like, do you guys manage the budget like through a proper method, or just like this goes into this and this goes into this?
Oh, sorry, what was this?
Do you organise your budget through any particular method, or do you just?
Well, we just, not really, no. It's just, we try to make sure we have enough of it over the month to pay for whatever events we want to do or what people are interested in doing or seeing.